Hey everybody, this is the Sliders Review, and I'm here today to talk to you about Mystery Incorporated Season 1, Episode 1, Welcome to Coolsville. So this came across my attention, and actually a long time ago, and I saw a picture of this, and I just paid it no attention, and I just assumed that, oh, okay, it's probably just some like fan film, something like that. Somebody has like a digital like recorder camera and probably just doing something like that, or maybe it's just like a Photoshop fan art type thing. And so I never really paid no attention until it came across my attention again, and it's all like episode 158. I'm like, oh, okay, so it's probably like a fan movie or something like that. And sometimes fan films can be good, sometimes they can't, even if they're in good quality and stuff. And so I'm like, okay, whatever. I'll check it out and everything. Boy, was I surprised at how good this was. I was shocked. So, like, it's actually not a fan film. It's actually a TV show that's being crowdfunded or whatever you call it by Indigo, some kind of website like that. And so these group of people put this together. They do other kind of fan stuff too. I think some of them did like Power Rangers, something or another. I can't remember, something Shadow Gorilla, something like that. And they've done, and the cast have done other smaller like projects, mostly like fan type stuff, web series, stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? And so, like, because I don't know who any of the cast are. Like, I've never seen none of these people in like anything, right? So basically, Mystery Incorporated, if you don't know who they are, it's the detective agency group name of the Scooby-Doo gang and everything, from old Hanna-Barbera cartoons. And so this is a more mature, dark, grittier type version, similar to that of Riverdale. In fact, I think they keep saying over and over, this is Scooby-Doo meets like Riverdale. And they even make some Riverdale and Sabrina references in there. So that's kind of neat because I don't think they're connected from like the cartoons and other stuff like that. And I have to say, this is so much better than the Chilling Adventures and Riverdale and the Hardy Boys and the last two seasons of Nancy Drew combined and everything. And because I remember when all this dark, gritty, or more mature stuff started happening, like Riverdale, Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, Hardy Boys, stuff like that. I remember telling myself in my head, why don't they make a Scooby-Doo? Like, why don't a TV network or a streaming site make Scooby-Doo? It would be perfect. You know what I'm saying? For the dark, more mature, grittier take and everything, the modern day stuff. It would have been awesome. They could have been in high school, have a diverse cast. Like instead of going the supernatural route, so it won't be too compared to that of Nancy Drew, they could have went like the slasher route. So all those villains that they fought in the older cartoons are indeed more like slasher killers wearing costumes, and they had to like unmask them and everything, and figure out why they're going on a killing spree. That would have been a nice, darker, grittier, like a slasher TV series, you know? That was how I envision it, and with a real life dog and stuff, you know? And so it would have been like better than Scream TV series, better than I know you did last summer. It would have been cool, you know. So I'm like, let's do something like that. But this is cool too with the supernatural stuff. And so, like, I'm so glad somebody has finally done that. Like, somebody went inside my brain and used an idea and everything. Like, I'm so happy, man. Like, you have no idea. Um, yeah, what I was gonna say, I can't remember what I was gonna say next, but so this is funded by like fans, and so the first episode, I don't know, IMBD said it's dropped in April, but it on YouTube it says June. So they say once they get enough money to make like episode two, then they'll do it. And somebody said it might be out like around July or August of like this year. And so like I'm hoping so, because the first episode was just like so good and everything. And like I wish to God a network would pick this up, not the CW, not the CW. And I wish to God that if a network does pick this up or streaming site, keep the creator of Riverdale and like the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, that dude, keep him far away, and keep Greg Berlanti far away too. Because I cannot stand Riverdale. I cannot stand the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. Like when it comes to Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, how do you mess up your own show when you create the comic book that it's based off of? And as for Riverdale, my God, they just went nuts with that show. And the great thing about this show, there's no cheesy dialogue. Now there is some cheesiness, and I'll get into that a little bit later. Um, Also, there's two problems I have with this show, but other than that, it's just like amazing, and I can't wait to like watch more. And I hope everybody else watched this thing too, because I had no really truly idea this was even like a real thing. I just assumed it was just something like fake, you know what I'm saying, and stuff. And oh no, I remember what I was gonna say. This is actually better than the James Gunn Scooby-Doo movies. Like, I like the James Gunn Scooby-Doo movies. They're entertaining and they're fun, but they're too silly, wacky and everything. And that's something people couldn't take serious back then. And, this is just like a whole lot more mature. This is exactly how more modern day interpretation should be, except for one problem it has. I'll get into that much later. And so let's get into like, the show and everything. So just like in Riverdale, you have some narration and it's done by Fred. And so basically we see him witness his dad dead on the floor. And there's some type of ghostly hooded figure with red eyes and stuff wearing a black coat and cloak. And so then, after that, it cuts to basically them at school and some of the other characters. We get to know them. We get introduced to Daphne, who is basically a popular girl. She's not necessarily a queen bee. That's another girl, but she's basically just a popular girl, very preppy and everything. Her mom is a bit on the snooty side, you know what I'm saying? Because Daphne wants like French toast, and her mom's like, no, that's just butter and carbs, and you don't need that, and blah 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 blah, and preppy rich people this and that, you know what I'm saying? So her mom's kind of stuck up like, that's how I envision her mom in my head, like when I was thinking of my Scooby-Doo modern day type thing. But I wanted her to be more like a businesswoman, like evil type woman, So anyway, um, so then it goes to, I don't think Velma, but if it does, I don't think she's really doing much, just like nerdy Velma type stuff. I love this Velma, man. She's like awesome and stuff. I never liked the cartoon Velma except for a pup named Scooby-Doo, but I've always liked the live action ones and stuff. And she's like one of my favorites now. And so then it gets to Norville. Can't call him Shaggy just yet. Scooby wakes him up, and I'm so glad they went with a realistic dog instead of a CGI, goofy looking dog and stuff. I didn't even know they had dogs like this. I've never seen a dog look like this before, like never. And so it wakes him up. He gives him a Scooby snack, and then he eats one, and his dad comes in. His dad's like a sheriff. Now, this version of Norville, he's basically like the hipster type, grunge type dude, which is perfect. That's how I envision it too. However, I will say this: giving Scooby a Scooby snack, that's one thing, but for him to eat it, I just don't like. I don't know. That's the part of the cheesiness I'm not like liking, 'cause it works fine in the cartoons. It worked fine in the James Gunn movies because that was so wacky. But since this is so serious, I just don't see a human eating doggy treats. And so not everything that comes from the cartoon has to be emulated in live action. Because I'll get into another scene later well, actually I'll get into that part now where he's eating a sandwich, and of course he's making it like he does in the cartoons and in the James Gunn thing, a very tall, high sandwich. And I'm just kind of like, it's a little ridiculous. Who would eat a sandwich like that, you know? If you're supposed to be taking this more seriously, why would you go that goofy, cartoonish type route and stuff? It's kind of like with Riverdale, but Riverdale, people wanted to see Jughead eat burgers nonstop, but that would be so ridiculous and everything, you know? And then so Fred, he's not really a popular guy. He's a jock and everything, but he's not really popular. He's getting made fun of by his own teammates and everything. And so he's almost about to get in a fight with this one kid who's the son of the principal. And so like the coach has to like break it up and everything. And basically, he's upset because, his dad died just a couple of days ago or weeks ago, whatever. And, it's hard. And then so we see like when he's walking through like the halls, he see Daphne and he kind of like, smiling at her. He has a crush on her, but she's dating one of the dudes who play like, sports and stuff, and so that really like upsets him. So I like how the fact that they're not dating but they like each other, because people always speculated those two liked each other in like the cartoons. So Daphne wants to be part of, I don't know what it is, probably like homecoming queen or it's something like that, where or a pageant, something like that, where you vote on a certain girl and everything. And so a bunch of people are voting for a bunch of girls, and there's one dude who happens to be gay, and then they vote for what is it? Daphne as well. But there's a problem. Even though she's a popular girl, there's a queen bee and everything, and the queen bee does not like Daphne whatsoever and stuff. So it's kind of weird to see Daphne like, not like on top and everything. Because I remember in A Pup Named Scooby-Doo, she was super preppy and everything and super snooty and stuff. And so like, but this does make sense because in the old cartoons, the 60, 70 cartoons, she was like really sweet and really nice, but she was also a bit of a ditz in the head. But I'm glad they didn't make her dumb. So it's nice they kept that nice factor about her. But I would like to see her be a little bit more stuck up and everything and rich. Like she has a little bit of that in her, just not like a super lot, Oh, and the morning announcements with the principal, that went on for way too long. And it was too campy, cheesy. So it didn't really fit with the vibe the show was trying to go with, It just went on and on and on. So then, I'm about to call him Shaggy. Can't call him that yet. So Norville, he is by his locker and he sees a flyer. It has something to do with Shaggy on there, like a DJ who's going to have like this type of rave party. Well, some jocks come in and they're being rude to him and they want him to supply them with some drugs and everything. And so he doesn't want to do that stuff no more because he said he doesn't do it no more, but they don't take no for an answer. So basically he has to do it. While in the library, Fred is researching something and Velma comes up to him and she gives him some condolences for his dad dying because her died about like 3 years ago. And so those two start like to bond and everything, which is cool because that reminds me of the James Gunn thing in the first movie, how those two bonded first when the team had like broke up and stuff. And so like they just like start talking some more and he's still a little angsty and upset, but she starts to bring up more and more about like his dad and like other things like psychiatrists say it could be like a delusion of what you saw and everything. And as he's walking away all upset, she mentions that did it have like red eyes? So he knows she knows something. And basically when her dad died, her mom saw something, a black hooded figure with red eyes and stuff like that. So those two are going to investigate now and they're on the case. So that's cool and everything. They're finally getting into some like Scooby-Doo-ish type stuff. Because so far it's just been nothing but a teen drama, And so her mom has like a bunch of books on stuff like that. So they're going to go look at that. we see Norville. He's in his little van, the mystery type van, not yet the mystery van, but almost the mystery van. He's with Scooby, and what's cool is that he actually still talks to Scooby. You know how people talk to their pets. And so I'm so happy that the dog does not talk back. And so he just literally he has no friends. So he just, that comforts and calms him down, he says, because when somebody sees him talking to his dog, he tells them, it calms him down. Because I guess he doesn't have no friends and stuff. And so he goes to the drug dealer and he buys some drugs. And this is where they make like the Riverdale reference with the whole Jenga Django thing. I'm just like, wait, hold on, those two shows aren't connected. So basically he buys the drugs and he gives them to like the bullies and everything. And so he tells the bullies, look, man, this is my last time. I'm clean. I don't do this no more. And like I said before, they don't take no for an answer. So he tells Scoob to sick on them. And of course, Scooby doesn't do it. And so they punch the crap out of him and stuff. So as Daphne's with her boyfriend and everything, the coach told Fred just let this whole go. And because if you and him get in a fight, that's the principal's son, you're going to be the one that's expelled and all this other stuff. So anyways, she wants to really be whatever it is, she's homecoming queen or whatever it is she's trying to get. But this the queen bee girl's, in the top running because she's too popular and stuff. So her boyfriend is the one who wanted the drugs from Shaggy and everything. So he had the bullies get it from Norville. And so what he's going to do is they're going to put it in the drink of that queen bee girl. And so he's going to record it. And then so when she gets in trouble, she'll be kicked out. And then Daphne's a shoe-in to win and everything. Daphne's not okay with this plan. So that's good to see she has like some type of moral sensibility and everything. And when they're at the party, she knocks the girl drink out her hand so the girl won't have to drink the drugs and stuff. But the girl doesn't know that and decides, oh, since you did that on purpose, I'm going to take my drink and pour it on your chest and everything. And basically makes fun of her in front of like everybody at the party and stuff. So remember how I said Shaggy's like a DJ and he's the one throwing that party? He goes by like Shaggy and stuff like that. Well, as he's outside, the band comes up. And as I'm looking at the band, I'm like, that's a unique look and everything. And I'm like, wait, hold on, that necklace that redheaded girl got, I've seen that before. And an old Scooby-Doo something or another. And they said they're the Hex Girls. I'm like, that sounds familiar. But I remember that song, I'll put a hex on you. I'm a hex girl. Remember that song? I'm a hex girl and stuff. And so I remember that song, but I never knew like who sung it. And so like, and so whatchamacallem, and I'm just kind of like, why did they look so familiar? Well, it turns out they're from like a Scooby-Doo movie back, I think in the 80s or 90s when they started bringing magic and sorcery and monsters to life and everything. And they were part of this girl group called the Hex Girls. And I'm like, holy crap, they brought them in. Like, that's so awesome, man. I love how they're connecting to other Scooby-Doo projects and stuff. And it seems so natural and everything. So with Fred and Velma, Fred is very anxious and is all like, he sees this weird looking book and it's in a different language and Velma can read it. He's basically just like egging her on to read it. He's like, just read it, so we can figure something out. And she just reads it. And it's like, you don't know what you're reading this is for. Like, what is this spell for? What exactly are y'all looking for? Like, you didn't really explain that. And she just like reads it. Well, the lights start flickering and everything. I like how the lights flicker, even though it did hurt my eyes. And so the minor 49er shows up. I'm like, wait a minute, there's sorcery, like monsters and ghosts in this thing, like actual real ghosts instead of people getting like unmasked. I'm like, well, that makes sense for like a modern time. So he's coming towards them and she says some type of spell type thing again and he just disappears and no she doesn't finish the spell and he like disappears in smoke. Now at one point in time she says jinkies. I guess that's okay, that's like her catchphrase, And it's not too corny as long as she says it in the right manner, you know. And so they're very confused as to what they saw and everything. And so as they're reading more, they kind of figure out, you know, he's going to be attracted to like light and blah, 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 blah. So since it's nighttime, where is it going to be a lot of light? Well, at Shaggy's little rave party. So they head there. And so while they get there, you know, he's all like, let's split up and everything. And she's all like, that's not the best course of action. So I love how like he's doing the whole split up gang type thing, you know, it's only those two and stuff, you know. And so they're just wandering around looking for everything. And need mind you, these are the only two from Mystery Inc. are really like, you know, together as a group, because Shaggy hasn't like really met them yet, and Daphne only looks at them from like afar, you know. Oh wait, now I remember what happened. This is another part that's a little like corny, cheesy. Like Fred had a baseball bat and he went to go fight the minor for the Niner. And it would have been okay if he would have just like, you know, hit him with it or something like that. But they decided to kind of like fight with their weapons and block with them. So the minor 49er had like the pickaxe and Fred had a baseball bat, and it was just kind of cheesy, corny, like almost like they were sword fighting or something. It would have been okay if he would have like hit him with it and something like that, but just fighting with him like that, I don't know, that was just a little too much and stuff. I would have preferred like a chase or something like that. And so as the monsters like doing his ghost things, doing his thing, everybody gets scared and they like run out and stuff. And so she's saying the spell again, and all of a sudden a puff of smoke and he disappears. Because basically what she did when she read the spell for the first time, she opened up the gates of the underworld, and now the 13 pillars of ghosts are like resurrected. And so, you know, and that reminds me of the old Scooby-Doo thing too. So Shaggy sees them and then had ran out, and then the only person left in the building with them is Daphne and stuff. And so basically she wants to know what's going on. So towards the end, we see Shaggy, or Norville, whatever you want to call him, he's like spying on the Hex girls, and they're performing a spell and everything in the circle. And so then the minor 49er shows up within their circle, and then somehow they absorb him into themselves. And because they said something about they've been sent to like this town to deal with the 13 pillars, which of course are the 13 ghosts of like Scooby-Doo and stuff. And so they're not necessarily bad and anything. They seem bad like they do in the cartoons and stuff, but they're not. So I'm curious to see where this is gonna go and see if they actually, you know, decide to like deviate and actually turn them bad. That would be kind of cool and kind of like, you know, have them corrupt or something. But so far they seem to be helping. Now I will say introducing them so early on in the series might be a bit of a gamble, because then they might fall into that same problem of the Pussycat Dolls from Riverdale, you know, where it's like they're here but you don't know what to do with them. So anyways, at some point he narrates again, and then we get some like end credit stuff, and it's like a guy outside, and all of a sudden there's like a black knight. He whips out his sword and chops that dude's head off. And then so there's another end credit part with Velma's mom, and she's calling somebody, and it's like a scary, creepy voice on the phone. I'm pretty sure it's that hooded person and stuff. So I can't wait until the second episode, and I hope it drops soon. Y'all have to check this out. Like, it's I like the mature theme of it. It's not too dark, it's not too gritty, and it's not too cheesy. It's a nice blend of all three. And you know, this is exactly how Riverdale should have been, because Riverdale hasn't been good since like the first season and stuff. And as for Sabrina, it was just okay in the first, but everything else was just kind of wonky, you know, because you can never really tell which direction the show was going in. And so I hope they keep on this like good vibe that they're on, because if the next episode is as good as the first, I can't wait for, because it's supposed to be 12 episodes total and everything. And so, like, yeah, the acting is really good. The pacing is good. The direction is good. The cinematography is good. The CGI is good. Like, they really put their money where it needed to be and stuff. However, like I said before, there are a few things about this I kind of don't like. One of those things is it was nice to get the ghost spooking and stuff and like the mystery and stuff, but I would have liked to see more of them investigating and stuff, more eeriness, you know. I would also like to see them be outside more where it's really dark and there's fog because that's a big theme of like Scooby-Doo. You know, they always want like they're teenagers who are constantly never in school and always wandering around at night in all these like spooky, eerie places. So it would be nice to get some locations that look really eerie and scary, you know what I'm saying? Another problem I'm having is like I just wish they would stop going that cheesy cartoon route. I don't need to see Shaggy eating a sandwich that's basically like a foot tall and stuff. That's a little too cartoony, especially him eating a dog snack and everything, a doggy treat. Um, and then there's another problem I'm having. The show isn't really that diverse. Like in the modern day we're living in, everything's getting more and more diverse because, you know, not everything on TV is just white straight people, you know? And so there is some diversity in here, but it's put in the wrong way, I feel. I would have liked to have seen at least one or two of the members of Mystery Inc. be like race bent. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Mindy Kaling, she race bent Velma because, you know, Scooby Doo is extremely white. It was made back in the 60s. It needs an update. Even the modern day cartoons are not updated, except for the one that's about to come out on HBO Max with Mindy Kaling and stuff. Now, there has been some race bending in some of the really crappier movies that came out. But even though they race bent them, they was still playing a white person. The Asian girl still played a white Velma. The black and indigenous Daphne still played like a white girl and stuff with a tan. So it's kind of like, you know, they did that, but they were still playing white people. And you would think one of the main heroes of this show, one of the four, would be race bent or something like that. And they wasn't. And my problem with that is like you do in fact have people of color in this show, but they're all bad. You know, like the boyfriend, like even the drug dealer is a person of color. Like, do you see what I'm saying here? Now, the bully, Shaggy's bully, I'm not sure what race he is, but he looks like a person of color. And as for the girl who's a bully to Daphne, I'm not sure what race she is, but I'm pretty sure it's not white. And so if all four of those people are like a different race, why are they all like snooty, stuck up, mean, rude, bully people? This is like the last airbender all over, where all the white people are like the heroes and the saviors, and all the people of color are all the villains and stuff. And I get it, like these people are like who created this are a fan of like, you know, Scooby-Doo and everything, so they wanted to stay faithful to how it looks. But at that same time, this is America, not white America. You know what I'm saying? And there are a lot of groups on YouTube who like hate wokeness and try to get people to hate diversity instead of accepting it. And this is kind of like feeding into their hands at some point, because at some point they're gonna be all like, this is exactly how it should look. So then when they see the Mindy Kaling thing, they're all like, ew, why is Velma like Indian and everything and stuff like that? That's not how she's supposed to look. And so it's just kind of weird in the modern day. Like we've made such improvements on like diversity, only for it to go like a step back and everything. And like I said before, I get it. They love like, you know, the original stuff like that, but it's like, it's time for a change. Like this came out in the late 60s and the early 70s and stuff, you know? There was a reason why Scooby-Doo was so white back then, but it doesn't have to be so white now. And if you're gonna bring people of color in, why in the world did you make them all villains and stuff on the show? And I'm not saying that a person of color can't never be a villain. I'm not saying that. But why in a show that's predominantly white will only the people of color be the crappy ones? And like, you know what I'm saying? Even the dude who's like gay and everything, he didn't do much in this first episode. He was just there being like a stereotypical gay happy dude and stuff. And he was only in there for like a few seconds at the most and stuff. And even Daphne's friend, who is black, is very rude and stuff. Even though she's defending, like, you know, Daphne, she's still rude and stuff. So why are the people of color rude in this like thing, and all the white people for the most part are nice? Like, I don't get that, you know? So that's a major problem I'm having with that. So, but other than that, this show is like awesome. It's like perfect and stuff, you know? Also, the gay dude is like part of the mean group, so why put him with the bad people, you know? Another problem is their age. Instead of having them play like students in high school, I would have had them play students in college. Why? Well, let's just say they do not look like teenagers whatsoever. They're all in like their mid 20s, late 20s, early 30s look, you know what I'm saying? But for the most part, they're in their mid 20s, late 20s. I think one dude's like 25. He does not look like no teenager. Nobody looks like a teenager. I mean, seriously. It's like, seriously, man. They don't look like teenagers and stuff. I would have had them play college students instead of high school students. It's so funny when you look at Velma's glasses, the lenses are missing. You can tell that's not like a nit. That's just like a little tiny nitpick. That's something I just like noticed, you know. I have to say the interaction between Fred and Velma, that was some of like the best stuff in this entire like episode, because you know you rarely see those two ever together in like past incarnations and stuff. Alrighty, well, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.